Hey, hello. My name is Cedric Rowe. It's nice to meet all of you. And today I'll be arguing about how schools should make lunches free for all the students between pre-K to 12. And the programs that I'm talking about is the National School Lunch Program and the School Breakfast Program. And so I firmly believe that, and I firmly believe and is essential for kids to have food throughout the whole time during school. This argument will be supported by various studies and reports that I have found on the internet. And I bet you're wondering, what is the National School Lunch Program? The National School Lunch Program, or NLS for short, or oops, that's that right? NLSP for short, is a federal program created by Congress that are entitlements, which basically covers the full lunch for the kids and reimburse the parents so they don't have to come out of pocket, saving a lot of money and a lot of stress and energy for the parents. According to the website No Hungry Kids, title was, sorry, one second. Oh, No Hungry Kids Center for Better Practice on the website School Meal Policy. The the article reports lays out from the National Education Association that students perform better on tests when they are on a full stomach and have better attendance grade. Their graduation rate is way better and improves the economy overall once you're being fed school breakfast and lunch. And not only that, that also gets rid of the stigma that a lot of people create when parents can't afford lunch or breakfast for their kids. And this stigma can be harsh on families sometimes, especially even the kids, as for parents when they talk to other parents, like, oh, you can't afford your kid lunch, what is wrong with you? You know, I mean, like I'll do if I could give anything for my kid, not knowing the current situation of the other parents. And so this will deter or cause stress and even make a chaotic household for the kid, causing more problems and more trouble in school for the child. And then the other stigma is that the kid would see this, that the parents is stressing out, getting angry and all that, and they would skip lunch sometimes or saying that they eat, tell their lie to the parents, saying that they ate lunch and claim that everything's fine. But when test time comes around or when the grade report comes in, like the effort is not matching up, like the word and the effort is not matching up. And so this creates a lot of problems with dealing with this program that I'm trying to change. And there's also a concern that, oh, a lot of people will say, or yeah, certain critics would say that, oh, we don't want to make school lunch free because if we do that, we'd be wasting money, and then we'll also be wasting food and all the other stuff. But you don't have to, that's all nonsense. But in the report from California Learning Resource Network, the article titled, where you go? Oh, why school lunches should be free. Sorry. The two federal programs are underused under like under enrollment by people who have lower income in their families. The application barriers, there's a lot of application barriers that are being applied, stopping them uh, from them applying, and the knowledge of it being spread around to low income families. Um, and so with those three, there's already being money wasted and kids that are not being fed, and so many so many kids not be fed and basically end up damaging economy, damaging the school reputation, causing behavioral problems in classes. Just a whole mess of problems that stem from the programs. And personally, a story of mine that my mom, well, I'm older now, like I'm 27. My mom told me she wasn't approved of the program because apparently she made too much money compared in the area that we lived in. And so there'd be days where I would go without eating and I'll just be like completely fine. Or I'll go out to my friends and see if I get a bag of chips from 50 cents, being young and hungry, you gotta do what you gotta do. Um, and sometimes the school would do host like little events here and there where they give like free pizza, but the pizza slice would be that thin. So, you always try to work your way around and try to get another slice in. Um, but yeah, but besides my own personal story, the benefits from doing get making school lunches free is one, they will provide better nutrition to students. Like so instead of worrying about, oh, we have to make sure we put the money, spend money on everybody. They always go for what's the lowest cost of food nutritional value. And so if the meals are free, we can stop obesity, we can give kids better chances of getting better chances at even the playing field, have their big, make cognitive and functional skills better, which also leads to children's, like say, graduation rate increasing and then being better prepared for a successful future in society. So the NSLP does play a huge part in supporting the health and well-being of children, according to the Congress, as they said in as they noted. But because of the enrollment and all the stigmas and the nutritional imbalances that this program provides to our children, it is inefficient in supporting our children and having them be better equipped for society and being able to actually enroll in college and build a successful future for themselves. Therefore, in the end, it should end food insecurity and hunger among students and begin to build a strong future for our children and the economy. And I forgot to mention in the beginning that this is targeted to the Congress and to the Department of Education in South Carolina, Ellen Weaver, because she's very passionate about um, education. She got her bachelor's in education and master's in education leadership. So I feel like she would be more really open to making school lunches free for children. And thank you for listening to my TED Talk. You guys have any questions?
I have a question. So would this affect portion sizing or quality of school lunches?
Um, yes, it would affect portion size and qualities because the we don't want this. The goal, at least for me, it was to have nutritional value for kids. So giving them the right portions, the right amount of grains and fruit, veggies, and dairy to help promote an equal balance so they can pass their classes and be able to, function as a little kid should.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, man.
So, for my question, in Panama, they don't provide lunch for students. My bad. They don't provide lunch for students because of the fear of quality of food. In South Carolina now, a lot of the lunches, when I went to school, they'd serve nachos every week, man. Like every day of the week, it's chili cheese and chips, man. That's not a dinner. You can't do that. So in Panama, they don't do lunch. Instead, I think they have a fund aside from schools. Usually more prevalent in private schools. But what they'll do is they'll probably give their kids a couple dollars and they'll go out and buy like an empanada, or they'll go buy a little snack for the day or go buy a little lunch instead of, because I think they're more worried about if they give their students the food that the teacher, the parents are not gonna like it. So what do you think they should do for like food quality if they make free lunches?
Wait, for the food quality, like the quantity or the quality?
The quality.
Oh, the quality. I think for the food quality, they should definitely increase it. Like we saw, with when the Brocks took over Michelle Obama, she tried to increase the food quality. When I'm not wrong, like during that era, I missed my calzones because I mean, even though they were fattening and unhealthy, but man, they were good. But overall, like it's a lot more beneficial to have a balanced diet and better quality in food versus having food that is high in cholesterol. There's students are not picking their greens or picking like red meat, and that plays a huge factor into behavioral, cognitive thinking, and behavioral emotions, controlling your emotions, especially when we're growing up too. You can have a balance in hormone when you don't get enough intake of certain nutritional components, I would say. So, yeah, it's definitely going up.
Thank you.
Um, my question is, would you extend this to like after school programs that take place at the school? Because lunches are like 11 to 12, depending on the age groups. And that then if you go to after school program, that could extend from 3, 4, 5 o'clock. So that's another meal you could squeeze in there if able to. Would you be able to extend it that far?
Um, that would be like it would be able to. Personally, at home school, I would be able to, but I think there would be complications running into if it would be worth, I guess, trying to extend that much manpower into over after school programs. If it was like a lot of them, then yes, can especially it'll also provide more opportunities for children who maybe don't get to eat dinner. So that's like kind of like a little bit another good outlook to look on it. But it's also just a little bit concerned of if there's going to be enough people, I guess. So, but that's definitely an option I'd definitely look into to see if it's worth putting into.
Mine kind of piggybacks off his. Would you look at the possibility? So I know a lot of states do like the standardized testing, and high school students do ACTs and SATs, and a lot of of the time those tests are 2, 3, 4 hours long, and there's not a break. Well, they get breaks, but there's not like snacks provided and for these kids. I know like my kids' teachers have always said, hey, can we get snacks donated during this time for them? So would you extend that program for instances like that?
Oh yeah, I definitely would. Because like I said, that would, especially during moments like that where it's a huge deciding factor on what colleges you get. Like I said, your ACT score, your SAT scores. That's when kids need to use most of their brain power, and they need to be not necessarily on a full stomach, but not on empty stomach either. So definitely schools should, since it's like we are applying free lunch, we should also get charities and donations from local restaurants even, or maybe even like Walmart or superstores to help try to counteract that problem there is. So yeah, I definitely think that should be.
What about students with like specific dietary restrictions and stuff like that? Would that be able to still cater towards them, or like?
Yeah, that definitely will. And I'm glad you asked that because for that section, I really think it's important that the NLSP, like so I did provide want to keep the paper form. So for that dietary restrictions, I feel like I want people to fill out a paper form on what their religion is, what they're allergic to, and so we can already cater to them or even have a section dedicated for people with dietary restrictions. So like if you're like no soy or if you're allergic to eggs, we should have a booth strictly made for dietary restriction people. Because you're not going to be the only kid, so there's going to be multiple people that are going to be like that. So if we have like a straight booth like that, then that knocks out two birds with one stone.
How can schools sustainably like fund like free lunch programs without compromising other like important educational resources? Like, so are you going to give the places food, or are you going to give them money for the food? And like, how are you going to make sure they're not using it on other resources, like educational resources?
For financial wise, um, it shouldn't be a problem. Cause like I said, with the money that the government already dumps into, I always mess it up, the NSLP program and the S school breakfast program, BSP program. Um, it's already like 2 billion. They dump a lot into it. So the funding should already be controlled or monitored by the school, the department of the school and other programs that are under it. And so they should be managing funds to make sure it should go directly where it should. And if not, then hopefully someone has some integrity to be like, hey, you shouldn't be laundering our money. But other than that, if there is a shortage on food because we run out of money, then that's where we look towards like charities and like other restaurants to help provide to make up that lack of food, which is people waste food all like every day. I go to IKEA and I see people who order the sweetest meatballs and only take one bite and throw it away. I'm like, I could have ate that, if I was homeless, but I digress. So
So I completely agree that lunches should be free. I think the fact that in America we have kids who are in debt because of school lunches is absolutely absurd, and it happens. It happens everywhere, and it's not unheard of. And there are kids that they're told in the lunchroom, you can't get a lunch. You don't have the funds. And
yeah.
that's sad that that's happening because a kid can't control, like they don't have a job, they don't have the money. But we've done this during COVID. I don't know if y'all remember. I know those were dark times, but the federal government gave states the money to ensure that kids were getting lunch during that COVID period. So we know we have the capacity to do it, and let's just be real, the government wastes a lot of money
Yeah, being
that they
honest.
could be redirecting to things like this. So if we have the ability in place already, why do you think it's not a priority for our members in Congress?
I don't think it's a priority in members in Congress because of their ideas that they want to push. And so, because Congress is focused on stuff overseas versus problems at home, this leads to more of the state to try to pick up, but each state is different on how they view their priorities. And so this ended up creating a pretty imbalanced system kind of forcing students to fail in a sense. Um, so yeah, the Congress don't wants to do it because they know that, oh, it'll cover itself in the back end. It'll work itself out. So yeah.
I maybe one day we'll get someone in there that goes, wow, look at this waste. Let's put it over here. So one day we can only hope.
Yeah.
Oh, any other questions? Okay, I think you're good to stop your recording.